Hello everyone. So this video will be a continuation of the previous video where we were learning about rational exponents and how to be simplifying the rational numbers. Before we start, so for a quick review, let's revise the parts of a rational number. Here this is called the index, and this is called the symbol, which is also called as the radical symbol, and this is called the irradicand. Okay, so these are the parts of it, and then let's quickly see how do we simplify these kinds of questions. So when you have 81 to the 1/4 power, all what you need to do is you have to write 81 as the radicand and put the root sign and write the denominator as the index. So if the denominator becomes the index, that means which number multiplied by 4 times, not by 4, which number multiplied 4 times will give you 81. So to find that, we have to do the prime factorization. So this is how you do prime factorization. Finally, when you have a 4, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, that means that's what we are searching for. So 3 multiplied 4 times will give you 81. So the fourth root of 81 is 3. If you don't understand what we are really doing, click on the link above and watch the previous video for a better understanding, because we've solved enough questions of these kinds in that video. Okay, now this question is a bit different as there is a numerator number. Here in the previous one there was 1, but here there is a 5. So what do you do in such cases? First, all you need to do is write this number using this symbol. So this is how we write it. In parentheses, we write 81 as the radicand and then the sign, and then 4 becomes the index always as the denominator is 4. So we use the parentheses and make the numerator, the number in the numerator, as an exponent. So in the previous one also there was 1 as the exponent, but anything multiplied by 1 is going to give you the same. So that's why we don't do that for 1, but when you have a number other than 1 in the numerator, you have to write it here. So all what you need to do is first solve the fourth root of 81. So the fourth root of 81, by now you must be very well aware of these roots. So that's going to be 3, because 3 multiplied by 4 times will give you 81, and 5 is the exponent. So 3 multiplied 5 times is going to give you 243. Do not do the mistake of 3 multiplied by 5. Never do that mistake. If this is 3 multiplied 5 times, means 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3. That's how we got 243. Okay, so the next question is also a similar one. Only the difference is that you need to add both of them. So all that you need to do is solve them separately. So here you will find the fifth root of 32 and the square root of 9. As you know, we don't write the 2 when there is the square root means the root, or it's only the root. The root itself means square root. Okay, so the fifth root of 32 is going to give you 2, and the square root of 9 is going to give you a 3. So all what you need to do is just add both of them. 2 plus 3 is going to give you 5. Okay, now let's move to today's remaining part of the lesson, that is how to use properties of exponents to simplify expressions. Now, before we move on to this, I just want you to remember 2 important rules when we are solving exponents. Rule number 1, if you are multiplying exponents, but the base is the same, you just add the exponents. I'm repeating again. When you are multiplying exponents and the root and the base numbers are the same, you have to just add the exponents. For example, here, if it was both the base same, here both the bases are same, x and x. So all what you need to do is just add the exponents. Now in numerical form, if I put, you will find something like this. You know this means 4 square multiplied by 4 cube, right? Now the base is same, just add the exponents. That's what the rule means. So this is rule number 1. If the base is same and you're multiplying, just add the exponents. Now, let's move on to rule number 2. This rule says that in dividing exponents, when you are dividing exponents, if the base is same, if the bases are same, you have to just subtract the exponent. So for multiplying, you add the exponents. If the base is same, for dividing, if the base is same, you subtract the exponents. For example, like this. The base is same, the base is 4, the base is 4. So just subtract the exponents. 3 minus 2 is 1. That's all the 2 rules you need to keep in mind when we are simplifying the rational numbers. All right, now let's go in detail and see how can we simplify these rational numbers. Okay, so let's move on. This is the question. The fourth root, and you have a to the power of 4 and b to the power of 20. See this? All variables represent non-negative numbers. So they all are non-negative numbers. Okay. Now, all what we have to do is, first we need to get rid of this root sign. So to get rid of the root sign, if you remove this root, what happens to this 4? It will change into a fraction. Exactly what we were doing before. Here, so to remove the root, when you remove the root, this 4 changes to a fraction and becomes 1 over 4. No matter any number, if you are removing the root, it becomes a fraction. It becomes 1 over the index. This is the index here. So for this question, it's going to be a 4 b to the power of 20. So we put them inside the parenthesis. This is nothing but the numbers under the square root, under the root. So when you remove the root sign, what happened to the 4? It became a fraction. Okay. Then what we are going to do? We are going to multiply each one of the term with this exponent. So a to the power of 4 multiplied by 1 over 4. So 4 multiplied by 1 over 4, this we can do it mentally as well. 4 ones are 4, you just multiply the numerator. 4 ones are 4, 4 divided by 4 will give you 1. Okay, then 20 multiplied by 1 is 20. 20 divided by 4 will give you 5. So you will have your answer as a to the power of 1, b to the power of 5. Okay, now how do we rewrite this in a correct way? All what you need to do is remove this 1 as the exponent. As you know, we don't write 1 as the exponent. When there is any exponential, exponent 1, we just leave the letter only. We leave the variable or the number without this 1. Means if there is no exponent, it means that there is 1. So b has the exponent of 5, so ab to the power of 5. So when you simplify this question, the answer will be in this form. Take some time, try to understand what we have done. Just pause this video if you don't understand this. Pause the screen, just watch, look at the screen, as to what is done. You will understand what has been done, rather than just trying to mess up all the steps. Just try to understand what we did, you will understand it. Okay, let's move on to another question. Now this says x sixth power, y fourth, and the whole thing to the power of half to the root of y squared. Okay, now let's solve this one by one. How am I going to solve? As you know, they are inside parentheses, means you have to multiply each of them. So I'm going to be multiplying 6 with 1/2, 4 with 1/2, and then I need to remove the root. So which number do you think is here? What is the index of this? It's going to be a 2. We know very well that we don't write the 2. Whenever there is the index as 2, we don't write it, as the symbol itself represents square root. So remember, it's a 2. So when you remove the root, what happens? What is the fraction we are going to write? Before also I told you, the index becomes the denominator. So index is 2 here, so it becomes 1 over 2, right? Okay, let's see now. X multiplied by 6, x to the power of 6 multiplied by half, y to the power of 4 multiplied by half. And how did I get only a y here? Because 2 multiplied by 1 half will give you 1. So here there is a power of 1, but we don't write it. That's why they did not write it as well. So they only they wrote it as y. Okay, now let's proceed further and solve this part. Okay, so 6 multiplied by half, how much is that going to give you? 6 ones are 6, divided by 2 is going to give you 3. So x to the power of 3, 4 ones are 4, divided by 2 will give you 2. So y to the power of 2 multiplied by the y which we solved the root of. Now here you are multiplying, but the base is same. So what is the rule when the base is same? Add the exponents. As you know, there is no exponent here, means it's going to be 1. So you just add that. 2 plus 1 is going to give you 3. So your answer will be x cubed and y cubed. X to the power of 3, y to the power of 3. All right. If you don't understand, if you think you don't understand, listen to this explanation once more. Okay, then pause the screen, write down the question and do it by yourself, and then check what is the mistake you have done. You will quickly identify and learn how to do these questions. Let's move on. Now, as always, these are quite longer steps which I have showed you. All right. Always there is a shortcut when we do any kind of questions, right? So let's go for a quick calculation of these answers, of how to simplify. Okay, now this is just a shortcut. It's not the proper way of doing it. Okay, you can use this method, just even you can use mentally and do by using this method. Okay, all what I want you to remember is, rather than doing all those long steps, but they are the perfect way of doing it. I'm not telling that don't do it. If you can, please do those steps. It'll be the best way to learn. But if you want to do it quickly, just consider this as a division sign. Okay, just consider this as a division sign. Just divide the exponent by the index. How much is 4 divided by 4? And then 12 divided by 4. Just consider this root sign as a dividing sign. So 4 divided by 4 will give you 1, and 12 divided by 4 will give you 3. Now, as you know, we never write the exponent of 1 in our answers. So your answer is going to be xy cube. So xy cube is going to be your answer. Hopefully that's a very easy way. That's why I called it the quick calculation way. We can even do it with our minds without using paper or pen. Okay, let's see one more. A squared b to the power of 4, and then to the whole exponent is going to be half to the root, third root of 6. So this is going to be a cube root to the b to the power of 6. Okay, so first, always let's solve this part first. All right, now as I told you, just think this is the division sign. So that means 6 divided by 3 will give you a 2. So you will have b square. And then what does this mean? This means multiply, right? Anyhow, parenthesis means multiply. So do it mentally. 2 multiplied by 1 half means 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, divided by 2 will give you a to the power of 1. 4 multiplied by 1 is 4, divided by 2 will give you 2. So b to the power of 2. A to the power of 1, b to the power of 2, and here already we got 6 divided by 3 gave us 2. Right, now as you can see, we are multiplying, right? This means multiply. We have two bases of the same. So what was the rule? If both the bases have the same number, you have to add the exponents. So how are we going to add? You know, we don't write the 1, so we leave a as it is. Multiplied by b, add the exponents. 2 plus 2, that will give you a b to the power of 4, or fourth power of b. This is how you simplify exponents. Hopefully this way is way too easy to do, not like unlike those where you have to use the steps. So let's look at quickly one more. Okay, now I challenge you to do this just using mental math within 5 seconds. I can do. You can too. So finally, let me tell you, the answer is going to be x and y to the power of x and y. That's it. Let's see how. So the answer is going to be xy. Let's see how. You know, brackets means multiplication. So you multiply each of the terms inside. Now already you know that there is no number here means, sorry, no exponent here means it's going to be 1. So 1 multiplied by 2 will give you 2. Half multiplied by 2 will give you 1. 1 2s are 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. All right. Then 5 divided by 5 will give you 1 as well. So let's see. X, you multiply 1 with 2 is x squared, and then half multiplied by 2 will give you 1, and 5 divided by 5 will give you 1. Now this is dividing sign, so that means we have two exponents of the two bases which are same, which means the rule was, if we are dividing, subtract the exponents. So all what you need to do is x2 minus 1, y minus 1. So 2 minus 1 is going to give you 1, but we don't write that, as well as the exponent of 1 we don't write. So see, as I told you, you can do this mentally. So the answer is going to be xy. That's it. So this whole thing simplified will give you xy. All right, now let's move on to some problem solving, and everyone has problems, but the problem for maths is the biggest problem. So let's solve some of them. Okay, there's the question. Given a square with the area A, you can use the formula P equals 4A to the power of half to find the perimeter P of the square. Find the perimeter of a square that has an area of 64 square meters. All what you need to do is replace the A with 64. This means 4 multiplied by 8. So replace or substitute A with 64. So this is the formula they gave us. So we are substituting A with 64, as they said area is 64. And here they said area is A. So now you might think you have to multiply this first. 4 multiplied by 64. No, don't do that, because always math follows the order of operation. According to the order of operation, the exponents should be solved first. So to solve the exponents, what do? We have to find the root of 64. We all know very well how to solve these questions now. We have to write the root. So the root of 64 is going to be 8. Means there's a 2 here. We don't write the 2. Many times I have repeated this. So which number multiplied 2 times gives us 64? 8. 8 8 are 64. So the root of 64 is 8, which means 4 multiplied by 8, that is going to be 32. So the perimeter is going to be 32 meters. This is how you solve. Easy, isn't it? Once you know the tricks to solve, they're very easy to solve any kind of questions. Let's see one more problem solving. Okay. So the question says, biologists use a formula to estimate the mass of a mammal's brain. Okay, they're using a formula to guess the mass of a mammal's brain. For a mammal with a mass of m grams, the approximate mass B of the brain, also in grams, is given by this formula. Okay, this is the formula given. Find the approximate mass of the brain of a mouse that has a mass of 64 grams. So you have to find the mass of the brain of a mouse that has a mass of 64 grams. You have to find the approximate mass. We don't need all this information. We are only concerned with the numbers. So we take this formula, right? That's B is equal to 1 over 8A to the power of 2 over 3. So this has to be M, has to change to, so I had to change that to M as there was an A, but that will not matter anyhow. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to replace 64 in place of M, because that's the mass. All right, so what does this mean? 1/8 multiplied by 64, because you know that there is no sign means it's multiplication, multiplied by 64 to the 2/3 power. So what's the first thing you're going to solve? Always solve the exponents first, because that's what the order of operation says. PEMDAS says exponents first after parentheses. So how do you solve this? These are the basic ones which we solved in the previous video, right? So you write 64 under the third root, that's the cube root, and then you use parentheses and write 2 as the whole exponent, as there is a number here. So the root of 64 is 4, multiplied by the exponent, that's 2. So 4 fours will give you 16. So 1/8 multiplied by 16. How much is 1/8 multiplied by 16? 1 multiplied by 16 is 16, divided by 8 will give you 2. So the approximate mass of the brain of the mouse is 2 grams. All right, so this is all how you need to solve exponents and also rational exponents. Hopefully this lesson is clear for you, but as I always say, math never comes just like that. Math is not a subject which you can just memorize and do. Never you can learn math in that way. Only practice can make you perfect. Keep practicing, at least practice 5 questions a day. Another, like, don't use the same questions, use another. In the internet there are so many questions you can find in these lessons. You just enter the name of your lesson and you will get so many questions. So take 5 questions daily, do those questions, challenge yourself by saying you can do it. Give it to anyone in your home, your sisters who are bigger than you, to solve, and try to challenge them too, whether to check whether they can do it or not. So practice is the only way you can do math and make yourself perfect in math. So if you think any of your friends who are having the same lessons, or who are studying of the same level, or maybe your sisters who are a little bit higher but they need a quick revision on how to solve these questions, do ask them to watch these videos. So keep practicing. If you like the video, do press the thumbs up button down. So we will meet again in the next video. Keep doing math. So until then, take care.